pressure coming. Garoppolo hit as he throws. A wobbler down the sideline, and it's caught! Deebo Samuel with the catch and trying to turn on the Jets. He'll take it all the way.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's me, it's Notorious GAV. And welcome to SBA Sports Talk. Today we'll be previewing the 49ers and Eagles games, and have I got some special guests for you. So without further ado, let me welcome the guests to the stream. Crypto Ryan, Randall McMahon.
How's it going?
Moses, OG 49er. I think we've lost our bowler, haven't we?
That's a pity.
Oh, no. There he is. I got him. I'm paying you, bowler. What's going on,
What's
guys?
going on, gentlemen? Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go. Right, let's see some enthusiasm today, boys. Right, yeah? So, without further ado, I will get into the first topic of the day. What do the 49ers need to do to beat the Eagles today? So we'll go right to left first off. So we'll start with Crypto Ryan.
Well, I think we need to do a lot of play action, keep the defensive line guessing because they do have quite a potent defensive line when they all show up. Sometimes they kind of fall behind. But I do believe we need to also push the ball with Jimmy. He did pretty good last game of throwing past his normal average depth, and I think we need to continue that today. I think that'll bring more people out of the box, and that'll open up our run game.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Randon.
Yeah, Crypto kind of hit it a little bit, and so what I'd like to see from Jimmy is that his average depth of target was a little over 12 yards last game. You got to take shots downfield, and that is opened up by our run game and our play action. I've always said that there's very little that can happen negatively on a deep ball throw. And as you saw last week, throwing it to Deebo, it wasn't even the best throw. You allow Deebo to make the play, have him be an athlete. Brandon Ayuka's an athlete. Sherfield's an athlete. So they're all going to be able to do their job as a wide receiver and make a play at the catch point. Worst thing that happens is you throw a 40-yard interception. It's like a punt, but you got to take more shots downfield. He did that last week, and that helped our run game. It was a nice mismatch of play calling by Shanahan and the Niners.
Yeah, we'll come to that a bit later in the show. OG 49er.
I think the D-line, the key is going to be the D-line keeping containment on Jalen Hurts, not over pursue, but keep making him a pocket passer. I believe the secondary needs to do good on the receivers. What I'm excited about is Josh Norman is starting, so I'm very excited about that. Always been a Josh Norman fan. And Lenore, and I'm excited to see how the secondary, how they're going to disguise their coverages against Jalen Hurts. That's what the two things I'm going to be keeping an eye on.
Nice. Bola, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to contain this Eagle defensive line, specifically on the interior. All right, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave, these are two really good defensive tackles. And, I mean, Daniel Brunskill, I've seen this guy get beat by bull rushes, whether it's Chris Jones in the Super Bowl, right? And again, week one. So I'm going to be watching Daniel Brunskill, I have a feeling, specifically, because if Fletcher Cox can get matched up one-on-one with Brunskill, I'd be a bit concerned. You know, Alex Mack, Laken Tomlinson, the interior. I need these guys to play stout. They did a great job week one, but the Lions don't have the same talent that the Eagles do on the line. So that's something that I'm watching because we got to keep Jimmy upright so we can make these throws, pick apart this defense. Yeah, that's what I'm watching.
Right, so yeah, what I'm think is the key to beating the Eagles is obviously setting the edge, keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket, making him a pocket pass and making him throw that ball. Right, yeah. Also, I think the key tool is Jimmy's release as well, right? Last week, his release was about 2.5 seconds, right? It was super fast. And he needs to keep that this week. Because if he can get a ball out that fast, it doesn't matter about the Eagles' front four because the ball will be gone by the time they're anywhere near him. Yeah, so I think we need to see Jimmy step up big, and make those plays, get the ball out quick, get the ball down, Ran said. Do you mean? And yeah, just make sure like we can hit them with the deep ball, and then if we hit them with the deep ball, it'll open up the under routes. Then do you mean the underneath routes, and then do you mean everything else opens up with it? Right. So yeah, my next question is: are we going to see good Jimmy or bad Jimmy today? Bowler, you go first.
I hate to be pessimistic and say we're going to see some bad Jimmy, but I would if the over-under was a half a turnover, I'd probably take the over on Jimmy, whether it's a fumble or an INT. You know, he played clean ball last week. Well, excuse me, except for that initial fumble to start the game, but that was you never know who that's on with the exchange. But I have a feeling we're going to see a turnover because I think he's going to be under some pressure. But I think there'll be some of both. I'm hoping majority is good, Jimmy. All right.
Yeah. Okay. OG, what's your thoughts? Are we going to see good Jimmy, bad Jimmy?
If the O-line holds up against the Eagles D-line, we're going to see good Jimmy. But if the Eagles D-line pressures Jimmy, I think we're going to see bad Jimmy. So it could go either way, to be honest with you. That's a gray area for me right now.
Rondon, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think that, good Jimmy or bad Jimmy, I think is roughly the same. I mean, 2 turnover. It's not really going to come down to that for me. It's going to come down to the run game and how well we're going to be able to contain these wide receivers from them. Most of their wide receivers have 4.3, 4.4 speed. Jimmy's just got to keep us in the game. Even if he throws one INT or one interception, our offensive line only allowed 1 sack last week. He was pretty good. Most of the routes are about 8 to 10 yards over the middle of the field. Kittle's going to have advantages against those linebackers, and our wide receivers are going to do just fine, and our run game is going to be consistent. So as long as he doesn't go haywire and throw, 3 or 4 picks, I think we'll be in this game come the fourth quarter.
I think that Jimmy's play depends on Kyle's play calling. If you use play action, the defensive line can't just pin their ears back and rush. So if he's asked to pass and it's not a play action, they could pin their ears back and go. And when they get inside and Jimmy has to make quick decisions, that's when he makes bad decisions. So I feel that if he's given, good first reads and with play action, he'll have enough time to make a good throw.
His stats, just so you know, were roughly the same with play action or just straight passing last week. The touchdown came off a straight pass. So he did pretty good at keeping positive plays going forward on both play action and non-play action last week. So that was a good point for Jimmy. Hopefully he can keep it up.
Yeah, I think we see good Jimmy. I do. I think we see good Jimmy. I think we've been seeing good Jimmy all the way through the off-season. He looked good last week. I think, especially if we can get the RPO going. If we can get the RPO going, Jimmy has got the best handoff in the game. Do you mean? And I just think he's going to be good. I think he's going to stand up tall if he can get the ball out. He's going to negate the Eagles defense to me anyway. Do you mean? Well, that's my thoughts anyway. Right, yeah. So my next question is, right, plans for Trey Lance against the Eagles. Right. So what do you see Kyle doing for Trey Lance? Is he going to set him up for success? Is he going to set him up for failure? Your thoughts, Ryan?
I have a feeling we're going to see the same majority zone read plays with him, unless there becomes sort of a bind and we're either behind or it's close. And then Kyle wants to kind of throw a trick play at Trey and let him, put the ball in the air. But I'm pretty sure we're just going to see more zone reads, hopefully in the end zone. And they're not in the end zone, but the red zone. It seems like he's very effective in that area. So,
yeah. Rondon, your thoughts?
Yeah, the only play that last week was successful for Trey Lance was the fake, the play action play and the pass for the touchdown. I think that we can't be too predictable with Trey Lance. Allow him to throw some just passes, because if he comes in and it's only RPO and it's only option plays and everything like that, that's an easy cue for the defense to know what's going on. So I think that he's got to get him some straight passes, some play action passes, bootlegs, and at least allow him to throw the ball a couple times this game in between the 20s and maybe in the red zone. Hopefully that's what he does. But I think it's mainly going to be the run play option and everything like that, which is unfortunate because he has a good arm and they should allow him to develop and throw a little bit. If we blow the team out, I hope he gets the whole fourth quarter. That's what I hope.
OG Fortniner?
I'm going to follow what Randon said. I think they need to utilize Trey Lance more in the more play action than zone read. Unless they're in the end zone, they're going to use them more zone read, I believe. A play action, I think, can happen.
Bola, your thoughts?
Yeah, Trey Lance, I'm expecting a big play today, a shot play. All right, last week we put on tape, the read options and obviously the passing touchdown. But I'm envisioning something like week 1 preseason on the bomb to Sherfield versus the Chiefs, because teams now, the Eagles might think, hey, when Lance is in the game, they're running this read option. We're going to load the box. We're going to run commit. And then, boom, we might pop a big one. And not only that, as was previously mentioned, in the red zone, I'm looking at a potential QB draw from about 7 yards out for a TD.
Yeah, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. I do, Bola. I think we should see a big play from Trey Lance today as well. I'm just hoping that Kyle puts him in a position to succeed, because some of the plays that he's put him in for has just been ridiculous. Like, what was that one play he put him in for last week? Was it like 3rd and 20 or something like that? It was. And
Yes.
Made it like a quarterback draw or something like that, weren't they? On 3rd and 20. What are you doing with these? That's just not putting him in a position to succeed for me. I mean, you want to give him some easy plays as well, like, to get his confidence going as well. Do you mean? Because we don't want to just like kill his confidence straight away as a youngster. We want to obviously, nurture him and make him grow. Do you mean? Because he's the future for us. We just don't want to see him in plays where he's just going to fail just straight away. I just don't want to see that. I want to see Kyle just come out and be positive. For some positive plays to Trey, and let's see what Trey can do in the limelight. Let's see what he can show us, because we want to say we spent three firsts on him. Show us, Kyle. That's what we want to see.
Exactly.
But I digress. Right. So my next question, boys: the 49ers O-line versus the Eagles D-line. What's your thoughts on that, Bola?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the interior specifically with those defensive tackles on the Eagles. And not only that, Brandon Graham's a really talented player. I believe he did some damage to McGlinchey on that right side last year, if I remember correctly. So McGlinchey's another guy to watch. You always feel good about Trent Williams on the left side. So I feel like Trent's going to hold that down. But I'm concerned about the Eagles D-line. They got some talented guys in there.
OG 49er?
Yeah, I think the O-line is going to be the key to holding on to the D-line. If you remember last year, the Eagles D-line gave the O-line a whooping last year. So I'm interested to see how the O-line responds this year. They need to match that physicality because the Eagles D-line is physical. So the Niner O-line need to match that.
Randall?
Yeah, I think they're going to do fine. It's going to be they allowed 1 sack last year. Obviously, last week the Lions were not as good as a defensive line. As Bayer Baller mentioned, the Hargrove had 2 sacks last week, so it is going to be based on the interior. Luckily, the fact that when you're in the interior and you're blocking, you have a lot of that help from the guards and the centers. They help each other, like the 2-on-1s, and plus you usually have those chips coming from the running back in the backfield. So I think we'll be pretty good. We just got to make sure that Mac, does his best at making sure the line is where they're supposed to be and calling the right protections up front, which he's a veteran and he should do that. It should be not an easy day, but it should be a good day if everything goes well in the interior.
Ryan?
I think we're going to see more outside zone to kind of get away from those D tackles, those big boys, also to tire them out. So I don't think we're going to see as much power as we ran last week. And that'll only help Elijah Mitchell, because I think he's the back that you use for that outside zone or zone read in general, or zone run in general. I think you're going to see Kittle staying in some pass plays again this week. Who knows how they use him? He might even pull and help out, in the interior. But I think I think Kyle's fully aware of this, and he is going to game plan around those not the bookends, but the interior linemen.
Yeah, I think we need to run the ball. If we run the ball, right, yeah, we play to our strengths, right, yeah. We all know McGlinchey can't pass block, right? We're not really like, you know, I know he's put on the weight, but he's still not the greatest pass blocker, right, yeah. So let's just run the ball 30 times, right, yeah. Let's run the ball down their throats as much as we can and just negate the front four, right, yeah, which will open up the RPO, right, yeah, which will open up so much more of the game. Right, yeah, and I think that's the key, the run game. I think, but they like, you mean, yeah, because if we're throwing the ball, right, yeah, and we're making McGlinchey block and we're making Brunskill block in the pass, I think it's all going to go to tits up, and it's not going to end up well for the 49ers. So we just need to run that ball, just keep running it, like, you know, if we don't run the ball 30 times today, right, yeah, we've lost. I think, right, yeah. So, but yeah, that's really what's my thoughts anyway. Right, I've got to quickly address a question in the chat, right? Yeah, right. So yeah, Shardall isn't here, right? Yeah, he's got work today. He has, guys. I'm filling in for the next hour, well, half hour now. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't mind and you put up with my British sense of humor and the guys. But yeah, so next question. This one's for Moses. This is. But starting cornerbacks, we've just heard that Josh Norman and Lenoir are starting doing cornerbacks, yes? Right,
Yeah.
so Ryan, what's your thoughts on that?
Hey, Gavin, this was one of my theories. When I went on the Grant show yesterday, I was pretending my theory was if that Josh Norman and Lenoir will start. Now, I'll go even further. What I'm excited about is to see Josh Norman. I really believe that he's going to have to shadow Devontae Smith. That's one of my theories because Devontae Smith is a rookie. Josh Norman is a veteran. The other part is I think Josh Norman can get into Devontae Smith's head if he plays it right. One of my other theory was the 49ers playing 4-2-5 coverage defense, disguising, going to zone, make it look like man, going to zone, even playing zone man, or even a cover 3 where they could go zone man and zone at the same time. My other theory was possible is they're going to zone up on Josh Norman's side and let Lenoir go one-on-one as far as zone man coverage goes. That's a possibility. So based off that, what are your guys' opinion about my theories?
Go on,
well, I'm not sure if Diamador Lenoir is going to travel because philosophically, I don't think the Niners do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if we did it week 1. I know we didn't do it much last year, but obviously D'Amico's calling the shots now. But I feel like they're going to have it worked out where each Josh Norman's going to stay on one side. Lenoir's going to kind of master another side. That's what I predict, but I really like how Lenoir's looked. I have a lot of confidence in Diamador Lenoir throughout this preseason. Week 1, I thought he's looked the part. And Josh Norman, I know PFF gave him a pretty good grade. Take that for what it's worth, you know, when I'm talking about last year. So I'm going in with an open mind. And K'Wan Williams, I really like K'Wan in the slot. And we know Jimmy Ward is also a good cover guy. I know now we're talking other positions, but I'm confident. I'm confident in these two, especially if the pass rush gets going, right? If the pass rush is clicking, that makes the secondary, OG, you know that, makes the secondary look better when this pass rush is getting to the QB.
So I feel that we're going to figure out real quick about where Josh Norman's at. I believe he's going to be thrown at immediately. Out whether he's still got it or not, and I think we'll figure out pretty quick. If not, they might try and start testing the Lenoir.
Here's the other part, Gavin. Here's the other part, Gavin, that I noticed last week. When the Falcons DBs were physical with Devontae Smith, he really didn't do good. I don't know what happened in the second half with the Falcons, but I believe Josh Norman will be physical with Devontae Smith. Throw him off.
What technique do you see him using, Moses?
What's that? Say it again.
What technique do you see him using?
I see him using a lot of man press. Because one thing I do love about Josh Norman is when he does man press, but also at the same time he's very disciplined at the line of scrimmage as far as his footwork goes. He doesn't like overstep like the way Thomas does. He stays physical and tends to reroute receivers a lot. I'll refer you to what he did to Odell Beckham. I think the same thing's going to happen today.
It's a big shout, that is.
I have
Randall, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of have a different view than everybody else. So, like, the average depth of target last week for Hurts was only 3 yards. And so they're getting the ball out really quick to the wide receivers, getting them in space. Every single wide receiver that they have runs a 4.4 or less. And Lenore and Josh Norman can't keep up with that. So what they're gonna try to do, like they did last week, is they opened up with 3 straight passes to Quez Watkins. He flies at 4.3. Lenore and Norman don't run that fast. And so they're gonna need, like Moses said, they're gonna need to take good routes to the wide receivers, mix up the coverages from D'Amico Ryans, and the linebackers are going to have to help out because both Ertz and Goddard are there for those passes over the middle. So I have a feeling we're going to have a little bit of a tough time with that speed today. If they go with that same game plan, the tackling has to be top notch because you can't let those receivers get the miles per hour up to over 21. Otherwise, it's game over. So that's my only hesitation. Lenore's been great so far, but the Lions wide receivers weren't really that great. Most of the targets went to the tight end and the running backs. And so this will be his first real test. What I really like about Devonta Smith is that he definitely creates really good separation. He did it in college. He was one of the best at it. That short quickness, the 3-cone speed. And so we're going to have to see if like Moses said, play that press coverage, get the hands up into the chest, make them earn those first 5 yards and allow the defensive line to get up in Hurts's face. Was going to be the key to that.
And one real quick, Gavin, one thing I love that I forgot to mention about Josh Norman is he knows how to neutralize the speed. Like I said, I'll go back to what he did to Odell Beckham. Look how fast Odell Beckham was fast. Josh Norman knows how to neutralize that speed. I really believe that. I've seen it on tape. He knows how to neutralize that speed.
Yeah. Well, good question for the panel. Like off the cuff right now. Put on Grant's Twitter, I did. Right, yeah, but what do you think the 49ers should do? Should we split the safeties, right, or should we just load the box and try and stop the run and keep it short? So we'll just give it a quick thoughts. Ryan, you start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead, Ryan.
I'll probably put 8 men in the box, just because if they are going to throw those short passes, you've got more people there and to congest them. The only issue is if they catch it in space and people whiff. That's the only problem.
Randall, load the box.
Yeah.
Split the safeties.
I think you got to do a little bit of everything. And so the great thing that what Saleh was doing last year is that he was game planning the coverages based on our opponent. And so D'Amico Ryans has got to take that lead and disguise the coverages and probably play cover 6 a little bit of cover 4, and then load the box as well. So mix it up. Hurts is still a young QB. And so, like, young QBs still are learning. I mean, Mahomes said it took him 3 years to really learn defenses pre-snap. And so he's still learning. So disguise the coverages and then make sure that we are able to tackle at the line of scrimmage with those short passes.
OG?
It's basically pick your poison. I think with cover 4, we're probably asking for it basically because they know they'll try to run on us. I would stick to the 4-2-5 or the cover 3. I would personally stick to that and then disguise the coverages after that, whether you go man, disguise as man, go into zone or zone man, disguise it somehow. But I really recommend the 49ers stay away from the cover 4.
Bola?
Yeah, I'm loading the box, and I'm going to have to get out of here on this one. But most importantly, I want to keep Jalen Hurts in the pocket as best I can. All right, I don't want him breaking containment. Easier said than done. That's why I expect Ebukam, D Ford not to rush too far upfield and create these big alleys for Hurts to escape. I'm expecting some kind of containment where, the ends, they push the tackles back a little bit and really they're playing off Hurts, trying not to let him escape the pocket. That's what I'm anticipating. But I got to get out of here. Hey, Notorious Gav, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And the rest of you guys were phenomenal. Go Niners.
Have
Go
a
Niners.
wonderful
Let's
day,
do it against
Bauer.
Angola. Let's go next. Right then, so we've got a question in the chat of Pistis Broker here, guys. If you want to answer it. What type of adjustments do you think D'Amico Ryans will make this game, especially since we are down a few starters on defense? So, Randon, do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, we kind of alluded to it with the last question. I think that they're going to have to make some adjustments. The linebackers were pretty bad. They over pursued a lot on the run game last week. There was a lot of cutback lanes for those running backs. Kenneth Gainwell has good speed. Miles Sanders has decent speed, and so we don't want to allow those gashes. We had a lot, like 4 or 5 tackles for loss last week in the first half, and they still ran for over 6 yards a clip. So it's going to be imperative that we cover those gaps as it goes across. So if we over pursue, the linebackers over pursue, you're gonna have those cutback lanes. And so I think hopefully D'Amico Ryans and the linebacker crew allude to that, so we don't get those gashes, and we can make it a one-dimensional game.
OG?
I think the big thing, the adjustment is to basically keep containment. Like I said, disguise, as far as secondary, disguise the coverages, to put an 8-man front up there. Just make some kind of adjustments. I mean, that's basically what I can do. Everything I said, my colleague said, pretty much sums it up.
So I'd like to see them go. I'd like to see them go to either a 5-2 or a 3-4 in certain situations to kind of keep him contained. You might even see D Ford not play as much because D Ford is all about the speed and getting upfield, and we don't need that when we need a good containment rush where you have to slowly push in the ends and keep him in and make him step up in the pocket and throw.
So my next question then, next question. How much of an impact will Javon Kinlaw make on his season debut? Right, Ryan, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think it all depends on the knee, but if he's out there, I think he's going to be pivotal in this run defense. We saw what he did last year to bring our run defense rank up. I believe that he really is the fulcrum of the run defense. And if you don't have him there, you're going to have to play DJ Jones, who DJ Jones usually gets hurt once a year. And we don't want that in the second game of the year. And I'd rather have Kinlaw be taking those reps.
Randon?
Yeah, I don't expect him to do much today. His knee's been sore for the last couple of weeks, and I think it might be maybe knee tendonitis or something like that if it's a recurring injury all the time, the swelling. And so I think that you'll see him used sparingly, maybe similar to what D Ford was used last week in downs that they need a big block, they need a big body up there. But I don't expect much from him just because of the fact that he was questionable coming in today, didn't really practice all week, and when he did, it was in a limited capacity. So, yeah, he is a good run stopper. I just don't see much. I think he'll be used in situations rather than the full snap count.
OG?
I agree. I don't think Kinlaw's going to be used as much. I think in certain situations that he'll be used. But he is a good run stopper, so we'll see how that knee holds up. We'll tell today if that knee can hold up or not.
Oh, he's a bit, but he did warn me that he was going to be a bit late. But Bashar, 49er minded, welcome to the stream, bro.
What up,
up?
Bashar?
Your thoughts on the
What's
question,
going on, man?
bro?
How's everybody doing, man? Sorry, I'm not an early bird. I'm lucky I even got up. I got up about 20 minutes ago, but I was doing a few
Thank you,
things.
Bosh.
Man. I love hearing what you guys are talking about. You guys really know what you're talking about in terms of coverages, and I'm not sure what kind of, obviously we have to contain Jalen Hurts. That's the most important thing. He looked super, super fast in last week's game against Atlanta. I was just freaking out seeing him run around all over the place, throwing little side throws to Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor, and we got our work cut out for us. We never win in Philly. I mean, last time we won was 2011, so let's see what we do, man. If we really made, there's a lot of fans that were speculating quote-unquote Super Bowl this year. I wasn't one of them. I'm just hoping we can sneak into the playoffs, and with all these injuries, we got to stay healthy. If we're not healthy, we can't. Saying Super Bowls is just completely out of the realm of reality. So we'll see what's up, man.
Yeah. So how much of an impact will Kinlaw make on his season debut, Bashar?
He'll make an impact on what? Say it again.
How much of an impact will Kinlaw make?
Today?
Yeah.
I'd love to see him make an impact. I mean, when at the start of training camp, D'Amico Ryan said expect Kinlaw to make a significant jump this season, and I was getting excited, like, wow, cool. We're going to see Kinlaw really, reach that potential that they were talking about. He looked decent in glimpses last year. At times, you could tell that he may have been worth the pick, but it just wasn't consistent. So it's all up in the air. I haven't seen him really play much this year. In the preseason, he didn't play last week, so I mean, I can't really predict how big of an impact he's going to make. I want to see him on the field. I just want to see him playing out there, and hopefully he can drop some double teams. If he drops up some double teams, then boom, Bosa and Sosa, who's Samson Ibukam, and D Ford and Arden Key and all those other guys can do work. So, and also help the linebackers too. We're thin at linebackers, so we need those guys to stop the run. All these D tackles that looked amazing in the preseason, and all this hype about our D tackles in our front was great to hear all in the preseason. But they flopped in Detroit. They could not stop the run for whatever reason, and it really pissed me off. These 49er teams throughout all of our glorious years have been historically known as a great run defense and great run stoppers. You can go from Michael Carter to Bryant Young, Dayton Stubblefield, Justin Smith, and so on. And if we're not stopping the run, we're not the 49ers. So.
Yeah. I just want to touch on your point. Go on, Moses. Go on.
One thing I'm really hoping is Kerr gets all his stuff straightened out, because he got taken for a ride last week. So I'm hoping he made all the corrections this week. Because if Javon Kinlaw is going to be used sparingly, he needs to step up, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think the proof's in the pudding, right? Yeah, with the run game that the Lions had against us last week. The run game isn't that good, but yet we still couldn't stop it, right? Yeah, so I think Kinlaw being in there, I said, giving a chance for Bosa to get inside, and to do some of his tricks and work his magic. It's going to be important. And he's a big boy. He's a big body to stop. So I think he's going to be key for me. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm a dumb Brit. I could be wrong. Right. So next question: will the 49ers get punished if they play a wide 9 formation? Bashar, you go first.
I like the wide 9. On certain downs, in terms of trying to get after the quarterback, but when you have a guy like Jalen Hurts in the mix, we'll probably see a whole lot less of the wide 9 today. That's how I see it.
I wasn't.
One more thing. Shout out! I know Shardall's not here, but shout out to him. This is Gavin, the Shardall's channel. So shout out to Shardall, man. He's the man. And shout out to Jay Mangle in the chat too.
Yeah, we'll give him a shout out at the end. Now we will. Yeah. OG, you go.
With the wide line, I agree. Use it in certain situations, but with Jalen Hurts, I think that the D line is going to have to be disciplined and keep him contained and not use the wide line as much, because he's going to eat us up if we do that.
Ron?
Yeah, so the wide 9, the defensive lineman is, they're obviously out farther wide to get that round on the defensive tackles. They got some big boys up there. Actually, a former rugby player. He's 6'8", 365 on the left side. So he's a big boy. But so the wide 9's used for that kind of situation. That's going to contain Hurts on the outside if we don't over pursue. But that's also going to allow him to run up the center for a couple yards. And with those running quarterbacks, I don't think you really contain them. He's probably going to get 30, 40 yards just on scrambling anyways. You just can't over pursue and make mental mistakes. If you play sound football and then, Hurts beats you every once in a while, that's fine. But the mental mistakes that allow those big 60, 70-yard runs from quarterbacks is what's going to burn you.
If we use the wide 9 on passing plays, I think you're going to see a linebacker stay in to spy. I think that's the only way you can really use the wide 9 effectively with these mobile quarterbacks here. I know they brought in Samson Ebukam because he's good at spying and keeping mobile quarterbacks contained, but I don't think you can just bet that one of the ends is going to be able to cross the field and make a tackle on Jalen Hurts. I think you're going to need to have a linebacker stay in to spy him.
Yeah, I think myself personally, if the 49ers line up in a wide nine formation, the Eagles are just going to call run. They're just going to call run straight away. They are run, run, run. And I'm not a big fan of it myself personally, but it seems to work in certain situations. Like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing it in certain situations, but not all the time like we have been doing. And yeah, like Randon said, just assign a linebacker to the quarterback. If we are playing the wide nine, because that's what Salah was doing towards the end of last season. That's when he changed his strategy, and he was assigning the linebacker to the quarterback so he could get out of the pocket and cause us damage. Because Bo was causing us so much damage last season. And the thing is, we're playing the wide nine, and we've got two of the best mobile quarterbacks in the game, in Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. So is it really good us playing the wide nine in a division, the division that we're in? I don't know. The future will tell. Right. So next question. 49ers running backs. Will Michelle come up big today, or is it Hastie's or Sermon's time to shine? Ryan, you go first.
Well, I think I alluded to it earlier. I think we're going to use a lot more of the zone the zone run, outside zone, and I think Mitchell's the guy who's going to get the payday on that. So I think you're going to see all of them today. Maybe not so much Hasty. I think Trey Sermon is going to, get his debut, and I think he's going to get a pretty good amount of handoffs. I think he's going to get probably about 10, maybe 12. But we'll see. I'm pretty sure Mitchell, though, is going to have a good day again. Maybe not 100 yards, but who knows? He's got that speed to pop one, just like Raheem Mostert. So.
And that Philly D line's always tough, man. We got our work cut out for us, but supposedly their run defense isn't all that either. Of course, I would definitely like to see Trey Sermon in the mix as much as Elijah Mitchell did well last week. Having Trey Sermon helping us out will be a huge help for us. A bit of a change of pace, of course, more of a workhorse type of running back. But I love our running backs in general. Hopefully, they do a lot today and help us out. And if Trey Lance is in there on any downs, expect that running game to look a lot more effective if Trey Lance is in the lineup.
Rand, what's your thoughts?
I think it's going to be a healthy mix. I mean, if you're going to run the ball 25, 30 times, and Mitchell is not capable of running the ball 30 times a game, and so they're going to need multiple backs. Even the Falcons gashed him for over 100 yards last week, and they got blown out. So I think you're going to see a healthy mix. What I want them to do, same thing with IU, because Shanahan should drop a play for Sermon to get his confidence going. If he's earned his spot back into the lineup today, get his confidence going, draw up a play for him, and really get him going. Maybe give him a full series. And probably this carries are going to go about 20 and 10, or maybe 25 and 5 with Hasty. But I think it's going to be Mitchell. He earned it, but I think Sermon needs to get in there just to kind of get that change of pace, that bigger bruiser, and show the Eagles something different. When he comes into the game.
Moses,
I think either running back is going to have a big day. Again, if the O-line can do the good run blocking, I think Mitchell, Hasty, even Sermon's going to have a big day today, to be honest with you.
Well, we saw Sermon in preseason, didn't we? And we saw glimpses of brilliance there, right? And I really want to see him get on the pitch damage today, because he's definitely got a bright future for him. And him and Mitchell as a 1-2 punch, that's a good combination for me. With Mitchell's speed, Sermon's power as well. I think that's the future for the next 3 or 4 years for the Niners, at least. Anyway, for myself personally. Right. So next question: is Kyle Shanahan under pressure if we don't win today? Moses, you go first.
I don't think he'd really be under pressure unless the Eagles blow us out. Then I think Kyle will be under a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm not really crazy about Kyle Shanahan other than his play calling, but I just don't like his ego. I just don't like his arrogance. I think that's what's going to be his downfall.
Yeah, Shanahan has to learn to keep things in house. I know, a lot of people dislike things that Grant Cohn says, but he raised a lot of points this offseason in training camp in terms of how Shanahan says certain things to the media, but especially when it comes to certain players, like even if certain things are going bad. You know, Shanahan's usually good at not showing his cards in certain situations, but obviously when you're a head coach, you're kind of like a politician, and like, sometimes he just blabs a little too much to the media about certain players. And I wish he, you know, like OG 49er Moses said, like he's got some arrogance to him. And, you know, it's good to be arrogant in certain ways from time to time, but I don't know. Shanahan, I don't want Shanahan to get on my bad side, and it's going to be even worse if we walk out of this Philly game with a bunch of stupid injuries, and I'm tired of seeing that. So we'll see, man.
Amen.
Randall, your thoughts?
No, he won't be under pressure. I mean, they've extended him. It's the second game of the season. Teams lose all the time. I mean, the line is only, 3.5 points? I mean, so Vegas expects it to be a close game. The Eagles won. I mean, I don't really see him being under pressure. I mean, if they have another full losing season, then yeah, but one game isn't really going to make a difference. But where it could get out of hand is our next 3 games are against really good opponents. So if we lose this game and then we lose 2 out of the 3 of the next big ones and we go into the break 2 and 3, then you can see the pressure both on him to play Trey Lance and him as for his job as well. But just based on this game by itself, I don't really see it.
Ryan, what's your thoughts?
So he'll be under pressure with the fans, I believe. But as far as the management goes, no, they understand how football is. You know what I mean? And like Random touched on, it's between 3 points in Vegas. So you know what I mean? If you can't see that there's a chance here of giving up a win and taking an L, like, you're kind of blind. But at the same time, I believe that Kyle's going to come through this with a W. I think even though D'Amico is kind of new at his new job, I believe that Kyle's going to be kind of nudging him, saying, hey, remember, when you come up against this kind of offense, you do this, this, and this. This is what would stifle my offense, so make sure to do that when in your game plan. So I think we're going to do all right.
Yeah, I think we'll win today as well. Like, you know what I mean? But I think Kyle Shanahan should already be under pressure because his record speaks for itself. I think. I mean, and like what Randon said, if we don't win today and we come out to the next 3 games and it's 2 and 3 or 1 and 4, it's not going to look good for him at all. Do you mean? And the last thing as a 49er fan, as fan base, what we want is another losing season. We want to see consistency from Kyle. We want to see. Do you mean just winning week in, week out, like, you know what I mean? We don't want to wait 4 seasons and then go to a Super Bowl. We want to go to the playoffs every single year because you need to be in the dance to win it. Right? If you're not in the dance, I mean, you can't win it. Like, but last question now before we go, guys, because I did a bit short before the game starts. Like, yeah. So that was a bit of a negative question, I know, guys. Like, so let's end the show on a bit of a positive, right? Yeah. So, what are your positives going into the game? Right, Ryan, you start, bro.
Well, it's a positive that Kinlaw's going to be out there. It's positive that D Ford isn't broken from last game. It's also a positive that Bosa isn't broken from last game. Those are all really good points to bet on our success with. I feel that other than Mostert going out, which I won't say he's replaceable, but we do have Mitchell there who's got that type of speed. We just really love Mostert and his story and how fast he can get to that edge. Verrett, you know, him being gone is truly sad, but I do feel that Norman's going to find a home here, and I feel that, you know, we'll see that pretty quick in the game. I think everybody will consolidate around him once he gets a couple of passes under there and he shows he can still do what he used to.
Randon, what's your positives in the game?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a good Ayuk out of him today. I think that you saw him say that, you know, this is a game or a man's sport or a business that is ever changing, and he learned a little bit of a lesson. I think, just like I said with Trey Sermon, they need to schedule a play for him to get him going early. I think Jimmy, if he's a good leader, will do that as well to kind of pump up your guys. That's your job as a quarterback, is to make sure that your offense is clicking. So that's a positive there, and a positive for the defense is Nick Bosa is back. He looked really good. He got 1 sack. He had 4 tackles for loss, and he was getting double to triple teamed almost every single play, and so that allowed a lot of our other edge rushers to show pressure.
Moses, what's your positive into the game?
My positive is I'm excited to see Josh Norman finally get the start today. I'm excited to see how he does. I believe the positive is that he's gonna do well against Devontae Smith. He's gonna get into his head, so there's something to keep an eye on. The positive also is to see if Jimmy Ward and Tart have stepped up as far as like better coverage, better tackling, so forth and so on. So, but the main thing is seeing Josh Norman in there.
For sure, what's your thought?
Yeah, a lot of these guys made great points already. Ayuk is definitely the guy, like Random mentioned earlier. It's a no-brainer with Ayuk has to be on the field. In order for us to be successful this season, we have to have Ayuk involved. None of this BS from last week. Now, if it was his hamstring, fine, but if he was, as long as he's healthy, he better be involved in the offense as far as I'm concerned. He's too damn good to sit there and not be involved in any way, shape, or form. A positive in general, though, it sucks. It really, really sucks, and it hurts me that Dre Greenlaw is going to be out for quite some time. To me, he looks like he's coming in his own and ready to be a Pro Bowler, or on the verge of being a Pro Bowler, on that borderline, you could say. And so it's great, but it is great to have Azeez Al-Shaater step in and look really good the way he did in Detroit. If he could continue that success throughout the season, that will be a huge plus for us, without a doubt.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that point as well. Azeez Al-Shaater had one hell of a game last week, and he needs to build on that. He does, like, you know what I mean? So that's definitely a positive. I think another positive is Mitchell as well, the running back, the young kid, like, doing anything. He looked good last week, so I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. Kinlaw being back in the defense, I don't think we can understate how effective that's going to be as long as he's healthy. And another positive, Jimmy G's on fire, guys. Jimmy G's on fire. Right in here, that's all we need. Right in here. Jimmy gets that ball out under 2.5 seconds, over 12.5 yards per attempt. Boom. We're winning. We're winning all the way. We're taking it all the way to the bank. Right in here, I'm telling you now. So, right, I'm going to call it there, boys, right here, because the game is literally going to start now in the next 5 minutes. I want to thank all individually for coming on the show. It's been absolutely fantastic. We have to do this again. Brilliant, this boys. I also want to give a couple of people a shout out in the chat, like Amin, Waruna, Persistbro, and Bang Pino Gang, and Debbie before she shot off as well. Like, you know, I'm awful sorry Shardall couldn't be on the show. He works weekends, so this could be a regular thing with me, guys. I hope we stick with it. But yeah, thank you very much for coming on the show, boys. We've got more shows lined up coming through the week. So keep an eye on my Twitter and the YouTube, and we'll have plenty more shows for you guys to enjoy. Right, let's go. Bang, bang, 9 again, guys.
Let's go.
Bang, bang, 9 again. I forgot to mention, I want to see Drake Kirkpatrick. I think he's active. I think he's playing, so it's important that he does well.
Oh, man, don't get me excited about that because, man, I'm going to be so intrigued saying that.
I didn't see him on the inactives. I read the list. Ooh. Bang, bang, 9 gang. Check out 49er Minded when you're not here. Go to 49er Minded. Peace.
Let's go.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.